What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options.
The Unicorn. I hope all is well. Today I am going to be giving my review on the newest movie that just came out like yesterday. It's called The Little Things. It stars Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. Now, if you have not been on my channel before, I usually give my ratings on a scale of 1 to 10. A 1 as in why was you made, created, thought about, to a 10 as in I like it, I love it, I want more of it. Now, this movie is a spoiler review. So if you have not watched the movie yet, like I said, it just came out yesterday. Don't watch this review if you don't want to be spoiled. So with that being said, go watch the movie. I watched it on HBO Max yesterday. It's 2 hours long. Once you're done, come back to my channel and listen to what I got to say. Also, I'm going to be painting as well. This canvas, it has the word melanin with a heart around it because melanin is just lovely. It's beautiful. It's everything. So I just want to paint this canvas while I talk about the movie. So I'm just going to roll right into it and I'm going to start painting. Hopefully it comes out good. I'm not sure. We're just going to do it. We're going to try it. All right. So the movie, The Little Things, is 2 hours long. It already starts out, to me, a mess. It starts with a girl driving. She's driving, she's singing, she's having a good old time, just like on a pitch black road. And, you know, this vehicle comes up behind her and, you know, just rolls up on her or whatever. You know, suddenly she just, you know, stopped having fun singing along on the radio. And this vehicle is just like on her tail, and then the vehicle drives away. Fine. And then she's driving some more, and she sees the vehicle still like ahead of her, and it stopped. So she's like freaking out now. And she doesn't know what to do, but she decides to, you know, go fast and drive past that vehicle. And she, you know, has a sigh of relief. And then she thought that was the end of her days with that, dealing with that vehicle. But little did she know that this vehicle was still following her. So, you know, what do? You keep driving or you stop somewhere. So what does she do? She stops at like a hotel that's empty and gets out and starts screaming for help. I probably would never did that, but she does it, and the car that was following her obviously follows her there. And she is just screaming and everything, and then she runs out to a field. So, you know, they're driving in the middle of nowhere. They're out in the middle of a field, so to me, it was just like not a good idea at all to just get out of the car, but she does it anyways and then runs into a field, you know, and then she does that, and the guy, whatever this being is, get out of their vehicle, goes in their trunk and has a duffel bag full of kidnapping items, duct tape, rope, knives, whatever have you. he or she has these items in their trunk, and they're walking around looking for this girl, and the girl is hiding in some bushes, and she sees a truck, like a big tractor trailer truck, and she, you know, she makes a run for it, and she stops in front of the truck, and it ends there. Doesn't know if she died or survived or what. Mind you, this is in the year 1990, so this movie takes place in the 90s. So with that being said, like, computers in this movie wasn't really used at all. Cell phones, they had beepers, but like no cell phones or anything like that. So that first scene is done, and then it rolls right into showing Denzel Washington. His name is Deacon in here, and he's a sheriff. And, you know, it's just like all the good actors are getting older, and it's very like, oh, why are the good actors getting older and everything? But in this movie, he's a sheriff, Sheriff Deacon. They call him Deke for short. And he's helping out some people in his town, and everything like that. And he goes to work, and his boss is just like, hey, I'm gonna need you to go to LA to confiscate some evidence, so we can use it for a criminal back here so they can go to court and get trialed. And he's like, okay, cool, whatever, I'll do it. And so he drives to LA. He goes to the LA county office, sheriff office or something. And so he runs into his old captain. His old captain and him, it seems like that they are not really on good terms. So in my head, I'm like, why is this man giving Sheriff Deacon like so much like flack? Like, why is he being rude to him? So, they're talking about evidence, like, I need it. And he's like, okay. So Deacon, he leaves to try to grab the evidence. But as he goes out to the parking lot, his vehicle is being towed. This is where Detective Jimmy, played by Rami Malek, the guy that did Bohemian Rhapsody movie, this is where he comes in now, because he got Deacon's car towed. He's just like, it's in the way. So when you meet Jimmy, he just comes off as a jerk towards Deacon. So they're already bumping heads with them too. And I guess his car, stopped getting towed or whatnot. And then what else happens? It was just he went back in. Deacon went right back inside the LA Sheriff Department building. And Jimmy, the detective, he was in front of a press answering questions about some murders that's been happening around LA. There was like 4 murders that's happened, and they can't seem to find the killer. And Deacon is just like kind of intrigued by Detective Jimmy. And Jimmy seems like to be intrigued by Deacon as well. And, he's done talking to the press, and Deacon is inquiring about Jimmy, and Jimmy inquires about Deacon. And, they meet up again. They try to make amends of what happened earlier about the car being towed. And Jimmy is like, hey, how about you come with me on a crime scene with me to see, maybe you can give me some pointers, some advice, since people say that you were a good detective. And Deacon's like, okay, I'll come along. So they go to this apartment building where it is a dead girl. A dead girl is there, and it don't look like nothing's really happened to her. I think she had like a bite mark on her neck. But yes, it was a dead girl that they were investigating. And Deacon, they say that he does his investigating a little different than other people, which he does actually. He, instead staying at that apartment room of the dead girl, he goes across the street. It's another building across the street. And he sat in there. He sat in one of the rooms of that building, and that room was directly across the alleyway of the woman's apartment. So he is just studying it that way, of the crime scene and everything. Some things about Deacon, he is not I feel like he's not a mentally stable man. He's very consumed with his job. And I think he gravitates towards Detective Jimmy, that Jimmy is also very consumed with like this job as well. Deacon, he goes to the mortuary to investigate more about the girl. He even wants to bring up like old crime stories like that has happened during like when he was a detective. There's a lot that's going on with Deacon, and he thinks that the killings that is happening now is somewhat related to some killings that happened in his past as a detective, and it kind of haunts him still. So, you know, throughout the movie, he is having flashbacks of a crime scene that he was taking care of, like with some dead girls and everything. And during his time, he couldn't even find the killer. So he now is trying to bring those cases back to see if the new murders that is happening in this town is relating to what's going on now. Throughout the movie, it cuts to a couple or a boyfriend and girlfriend jogging in the middle of the night, and they part ways. Like the guy jogger, he was like, hey, do you want me to run with you home to the girl? Mind you that there's like murders that's going around in the city, and this girl is like, nah, I'm good, I'm cool, I can run home on my own. And like, ladies, we have to be more like aware of our surroundings. I hope no one doesn't run in the dark. I mean, this lady in the movie, she runs in the dark with no reflective tape, and she didn't have any type of protective things on her, like no weapons or anything like that to protect herself. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, this is another dead girl. And sure enough, the next day, they throw up missing person sign, and it's the girl. So, and then I'll also say she had a red beret in her hair, and I'll talk about that. I'll bring that up later. So they show that, and then, yes, like I said, the next day it shows a poster of her missing. So I'm like, oh, she's dead. And you have Deacon Denzel, and he is doing some investigating. Like he's still on the case of the dead girl in the apartment. And I guess like when the girl died, she was supposed to get some work done on her refrigerator. Something was wrong with her appliances. So the owner of the apartments complex, she was saying, oh yes, her like refrigerator was supposed to get some work done by these people here at this appliance shop. So Deacon goes there, and he's doing some more investigating. He's questioning the manager of the appliance place, asking questions and everything. And he takes some type of like evidence, like names of the list of people who are supposed to work on appliances at different locations. And he walks away. As he leaves the appliance store, you see Jared Leto's head pop out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, here's Jared Leto. He is here. He finally shows up in the movie. Now, when it comes to Jared Leto in here, he has long hair, and he's just kind of lanky. He walks with a limp. He has a pot belly. So I liked his acting in here, but I'll talk more about that later. So yes, in Denzel Washington, Deacon, he just decides to follow Jared Leto. He's following Jared Leto. I think his name is Albert in the movie. He's following him around. Like the man, he goes to strip clubs. He goes to a place where it was roast beef. One point in time in the movie, Denzel was like, what did she eat last? And Jimmy, the detective, was like, oh, she had roast beef. So when he followed Albert, he definitely went to a place where they were selling roast beef. So Denzel is just like really following this guy. And, you know, he followed him to where he lived and everything. And he even spoke to him. He spoke to him briefly one point in time, still following him around. He followed him to a location where it was a death that did take place. So Denzel really thinks that this is the guy, that this is the man. And he tells Jimmy, the detective, about it and everything. And Jimmy, he decides to do some investigating with Deacon. So now they're tag teaming this up. When it comes to Deacon, like I said, he's not mentally stable. And the captain that I mentioned earlier throughout my review, that him and his captain butt heads, it's because when Deacon was a detective, he went crazy. They said that he had a heart attack, he had a divorce, just like a lot of things within 6 months. They said a divorce, a heart attack or stroke, whatever have you, and something else was going on with him, and they relieved him from being a detective, and that's why Jimmy actually took his place in the force. So the captain told that to Jimmy, and Jimmy and Deacon spoke a little bit about that. And so they're just like doing this adventure, just following Albert around. And then it really fast forwards to them taking Albert into custody, like, interrogating him. And they're showing pictures to Albert, like, of the dead girl. And Albert is like kind of getting aroused by it. So Deacon really thinks that Albert killed this lady. And come to find out that Albert has actually admitted to 8 years ago, he had admitted to murdering somebody, but he was just playing like it wasn't true. So that's also a thing. Like, you don't know if Albert like really killed people, or he was saying it because he just want to pretend that he's a killer. I have no idea, but he did that before. So like, the captain of that works at LAPD, the Los Angeles department, he's like, we need to drop the case because Albert is not being serious about it. But Deacon and Jimmy is like, no, he did it. We know he did it and everything. So I'll tell you what happened next. Deacon and Jimmy is outside of Albert's house. I'll also fill you in that Albert had an idea that he was being followed by Jimmy and Deacon for a while, maybe like for a week and everything. Even one point in time, Deacon broke into his house to try to get some evidence against Albert. But this particular night, they was outside of Albert's house, and Deacon asked Jimmy, like, hey, do you want me to get you any coffee? So Deacon leaves and walks to the corner store to get some coffee for them too. And there was a phone booth. I forgot about phone booths. But it was a phone booth outside on the street. And Jimmy, he decides to go outside and answer the phone. He picks it up, and it is Albert. And Albert is saying, like, well, I know where to find the body of the missing girl, the one that went running by herself, like with no reflective belt or no weapons. He said he knows where she is. So, but Deacon can't come with us. And what does Jimmy do? Jimmy, he decides to ride with Albert. I would never did that, but he decides to ride with Albert out into the middle of nowhere to find that missing jogger girl. But I was so happy and relieved that Deacon saw them leave from the house, and Deacon followed. Deacon followed them. Like, he gave a lot of space, though, of following. So Jimmy and Albert is Jared Leto again. And like, Albert is saying, like, she's here. This is her dead body. And Jimmy starts digging, and Albert's like, no, wait, I'm sorry, this is not where she's buried. She's buried here. So he had Jimmy like dig so many different holes and everything, and Albert is just like talking shit to him, like just talking a whole bunch of shit to Jimmy, where Jimmy, out of anger, swung around and knocked him out with the shovel and killed him. And they show a flashback, actually, of Deacon accidentally killing a girl. Remember I told you about a case that he did a long time ago about some girls getting killed? Yes, 2 girls did get killed, but when he was walking in a forest, by accident, he murdered the 3rd girl by, like I said, accident. So when Deacon, going back to present, Deacon shows up and sees that Albert is on the floor dead. And Deacon just goes into this mode like, hey, no one is not going to find out about this. Find a hole, dig it, and throw his body in there. Throw his body in one of the holes. I'm going to go away for like 4 hours to take care of some stuff. So, and while I'm away, this is what I need you to do. And Jimmy does it. Jimmy finds a hole and he buries Albert's body in it. And Denzel comes back, and Denzel is like, throughout the movie, he says, like, it's the little things. So Denzel is just saying, like, you're not going to say anything to anybody. You're not going to think about what happened, because little things like that will come back to haunt you, and you will get in trouble. So I guess, like, the movie, when it says the little things, it's just like the littlest things can cause, like, some issues. And that is what I had got from the movie about the little things, because he just kept saying that to Jimmy, like, it's the little things that get you caught up. So little things like thinking about how you killed Albert, that can cause a lot of problems. And then also with Deacon, he had his own issues, his own flashbacks. Like, he would throw up pictures of the dead girls that he was working on, that case that he was working on. He would literally hang up those pictures of the dead girls, and little things like that made them come back as like ghosts and just like haunt him and stuff. But when that happened, when I told you that he accidentally killed the girl when he was working that case years ago, the captain, remember I said him and the captain was butting heads. And I know why. Because when Deacon accidentally killed that girl, they covered it up. The captain helped him cover up that murder. Like, him accidentally killing that girl. That's why the captain is like feeling some type of way towards Deacon, because he's like, I saved your ass. So, fast forward, Denzel is doing that in return for Jimmy, saving his ass. Man, Deacon, he went to Albert's house, grabbed all of his things, and he just made it look like Albert just like never existed again. Jimmy, he took some vacation days off, and he just like wasn't the same. Like, his mind, he just kept thinking about the death of Albert, like him killing that man. And Jimmy's just like, I know he's dead, but I know that he was the murderer. I know he murdered that jogger girl. And so they fast forward to Jimmy at home, just very quiet, not himself. He's married with children as well, so I didn't mention that. But yeah, he's married, he has a family and stuff, and he's just very distant with his family. Like, his daughters is just watching him from the pool, like, Daddy, are you okay? And then he received a letter from Deacon, and inside of the letter envelope, there was the red beret. Now, I did mention about the red beret, right? I said the girl was wearing a red beret, the jogger girl. So with him sending that to Jimmy, that gave Jimmy a sigh of relief. Because Jimmy just kept saying, like, we have to find the red beret. That's what the jogger girl was wearing. And if Albert has it, then Albert is the murderer. And Deacon mailed that to Jimmy, and I think Jimmy then felt fine. But even that was a lie. Deacon bought a red beret. He bought it on purpose and sent it to Jimmy so Jimmy wouldn't feel so bad about him accidentally killing Albert. This movie is just like not healthy. It's not a healthy movie because Deacon Denzel Washington, like, he's been through a lot of things and his mental health has not been resolved. His mental health wasn't resolved. They show him visit his wife, his ex-wife actually, but Deacon is not right in the head. And he passed it along to Jimmy. Jimmy not being right in the head right now. So, I mean, that's why I gave the movie a 7, because of the whole mental health thing that I was observing from the movie. It just like wasn't right. It wasn't right. But overall, I do enjoy the movie. It had a good soundtrack. It had like a lot of good oldies music to it. So I enjoyed it a lot. But just the mental health aspect of it, I just wasn't feeling too much. That's all. So, yeah. When it came to Denzel's character, Deacon, overall, I liked everyone's acting. So Deacon, I just felt like he was a troubled man mentally, and he just, keeps putting band-aids over what's going on in his life, and nothing's really resolved. He needs to go see somebody, like, really. When it comes to Detective Jimmy, played by Rami Malek, I didn't know the man really had an overbite. I thought it just looked like that when he was in the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, but that's how his mouth is like in real life. So I was just like, oh, okay, that's just his mouth. But he's a good actor too. And then Jared Leto. I always enjoy Jared Leto, with the exception of him being like that Joker. I didn't really care for him being that Joker. But other than that, like, I thought the cast was good. They kind of meshed well with one another, I believe. But other than that, I didn't have any issues with their acting. Like, it was a good movie. I wouldn't say it was scary. Not a scary movie. Just crime. It was only a thriller feel when Jimmy got in the car with Albert. Because I'm like, why would this man get in the car with somebody that they think is a murderer? Like, dude, you about to set yourself up to get killed yourself. That was like the only time that I felt like the movie was going into like a thriller feel. But I liked the movie. It was decent. I really enjoyed it. And that is the end of my movie review. And I am done with my painting. Again, I watched the movie The Little Things, starring Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. I gave it a 7. If you are not following my Instagram page, please follow. If you enjoyed my review, hit the heart button. Thank you again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.